Guys, hello, hello. Can you hear and see me? Let's check the connection. Let's check our connection. Hi, you can, right? Oh no, I'm not sure yet. You're talking to each other, maybe. Okay, anyways, as soon as you hear me, let me know. By the way, it's the first conditional, the one we studied on our second theoretical lesson. Okay, and as for today's topic, we are gonna revise a bit this theoretical lesson. I mean, the conditional. Then we are gonna talk about education mostly, learn some vocabulary on the topic, then listen to one program about British students being sent to China and their difficulties and the experiences. It'll be rather interesting. Sorry, not difficult. Yeah. So, but first we'll start with a little quiz, general knowledge quiz. Quiz это такая викторина небольшая. So I'm just gonna ask you some questions, about different subjects, like about history or about chemistry or math or English language, whatever, and you will need to answer me. Okay? So listen carefully to the question. We're gonna see how well you know other subjects apart from English. So my first question is, what year did the Second World War start? So the Second World War, when did it start? And we have the answer, 1939. Okay, the Second World War, это, если что, Вторая мировая война. Okay, great. Then, okay, this one is hard, to be honest. I myself don't know the answer to that question. Of course, now I do, but because I had to Google it. Anyway, maybe there are some of you who are just super good at geography. Okay, here it goes. Which country's longest river is called the Po? So we have that river, the Po, and in which country is it located? I have never heard about that river. Well, I had never heard about it before I looked for the answers. Yeah, Miss Bennett. Oh, Miss Bennett, are you kidding me? That's a great name. I just noticed it. Are there any more Vampire Diaries fans? Yeah, anyway, Miss Bennett is right. It's Italy. The River Po is located in Italy. Okay? Then this one is about math. It's super easy. It's just that it might be some new vocabulary for you. So, what's the root of 36? The root of это корень. Корень из числа. So what's the root of 36? Uh-huh. 6. Okay. Nice. Well, of course, it's too easy, but just remember that this expression корень из чего-то, то есть корень вообще, в принципе, по-английски root, что и корень дерева, и в данном случае то же самое, корень из числа, the root of and a particular number. Okay, now physics. Who discovered the law of gravity? The law of gravity. Who discovered it? Nikolai, is that the answer? Yes? Oh, you know it, of course. The law of gravity, law, закон, yeah, гравитация. It's Newton, of course. Newton has discovered it. Discovered it without has in the past. Wow, any more? Okay, well, maybe the last question from chemistry. What's the most common chemical element on Earth? The most common chemical element on Earth. You don't really have to know chemistry, probably. Okay, we have one correct Russian, but we have one correct answer, but it's in Russian. What's it? What is it in English? There is such a series, remember? H2O, just add water, about mermaids. It's from my childhood. I absolutely love it. No, no one knows it. Водород. Well, not really. It's hydrogen. Hydrogen, если что, пишется через Y. But yeah, okay, good job. See, you remember a lot of subjects apart from English. Well, just small pieces of information. Then, enough with the quiz, and now let's get deeper into our topic. Good job. So, topic, live and learn. We're gonna start first by looking at different school systems in different countries. And first, so you're gonna have to work with these texts on your own. But before you do it, I'm just gonna help you a bit because some of these words like boarding, nursery, secondary, and so on, and these words, they might be new for you. So you can look at them. I'm just gonna read you a short piece of information about Russian educational system, and you just pay attention to the words, pay attention to what I'm saying, what I'm reading to you, and then when you do these texts, these tasks, it's gonna be easier for you. Okay, let's start. The education system in Russia. Okay. Where can we start? Well, in Russia, our government ensures это как убеждаться, ensures that general education is free for everyone. That is why most schools in Russia are state schools, so they are paid for by the government. But private schools have also popped up in recent years. Then, in Russia, we have preschool education. What is that preschool? Our education usually begins with preschool before the age of 6, although it's not compulsory. So first, kids in Russia, like from 2 or 3 years old till 6, they go to kindergarten, and then after it, they can go to preschool, which goes after school. They focus on some intellectual and physical activities. And the next step after preschool is primary school, which is part of the general education program. So let's take a look at this general education program in Russia. What it consists of. Our system in Russia has 3 stages. We have primary school, which lasts for 4 years. Then we have basic general education lasting for 5 years. So basic general education goes from how many? From 12 or so till 16 years old. So it's from 5th to 9th grade. And then we can go to a technical school after it. And then we have, I forgot, I lost here. And secondary education. So 3 stages: primary education, basic general education, and secondary education. Secondary education, it's what you're about to do. It's the 10th and the 11th grades. That's it. So I've used some words from here, like secondary, like primary, like state and private schools. Now it should be easier for you. And now the task is to look at that text and to complete the words, to complete the gaps with words from here, from this column. You've already given one example, primary here. Children start primary school when they're 5, kind of like in Russia. And then you go on. You can use a dictionary if you want. So a few minutes for you, just let me know when you're ready and then we'll quickly check and move on to the second task. Ребята, вижу, что вы в комментарии пишете. Вы можете это сделать самостоятельно. Смотрите, я в наш общий чат, там, где просто вот чат летней школы, только по английскому языку, вам сегодня перед уроком скинула вот такой файл с учебником. Если кто-то может печатать, можете перед занятием печатать. Там на 5-й странице файла, если я не ошибаюсь, в конце есть это задание, и вы можете все вписывать. Может быть, у вас есть редактор на компьютере, через редактор тоже удобно вписывать. Или на крайний случай просто себе в блокнот, там по буковкам напишите, и как все будут готовы, мы проверим. Быстренько пройдемся и перейдем ко второму заданию. Софья, когда будет задание по сериалам? Сегодня выложу вам. Мы просто чуть позже начали, и пока что там никто особо из вас не успел посмотреть. Сегодня ближе к вечеру. Okay, Ася is ready. Anyone else? Okay, yeah, I think we can start checking slowly. So in the UK, children first go to primary school when they are 5. But before that, you know, like in the United States, they have kindergarten. So in the UK, they can go to a nursery school. So a nursery school, it's the same as a kindergarten. So a place where kids, let me make it bigger a bit. Guys, 1 second. A place where kids can go when they are 2 or 4 years old. After primary school, they go to secondary school. Here we'll have secondary. То есть, если расставить всю систему in order, it's gonna be nursery, primary, and secondary. Then that's it. Then let's talk that the majority of schools in the UK are state schools, which means that they are free. And then, of course, there can be private schools where parents have to pay. A few of these are boarding schools. It's an interesting case. You probably know that a boarding school in Russia, well, this is not the best place to be, not a place with the best reputation, I'd say, because a boarding school, вообще это школа-интернат. In Russia, I think they're quite infamous. Infamous – это вот как famous for something bad, с плохой репутацией. But as for the UK, boarding schools are great schools. They're rather expensive. They can provide a high-quality education. The next, children at primary school are often called pupils. Pupil has two definitions. Pupil, it's something that you have in your eye, you know, this black spot. And then a pupil, it's a school student. Whereas at secondary school, pupils, or kids, children, are usually called students. Вообще, pupil можно сказать, что довольно устаревшее слово, так иногда говорят, так считают, что pupil – значение ученика. Его можно использовать, просто нам нужно понимать, что это ученик младших классов. Все, что старше, тем более студенты, это уже students. The person who is in charge of, to be in charge of, that's a great expression, you can write it down as well. To be in charge of is to be responsible for something. So this is going to be the head or the head teacher. In America, by the way, it's called, this person is called the principal. And the school year is divided into 3 terms. Like in Russia, actually. And the last, a person who has finished university and has a degree is called a graduate. There is one interesting thing with this graduate. Okay, let's take a look. So if a person who has finished a university is called a graduate, how will you call a student at a university? Does anyone know? So a student getting a bachelor degree, how can it be called? it's not it's, how can he or she be called? Кто-то знает, как назвать? No, 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 not about a person who is getting his master's. Немножко не так поняли. То есть, когда человек закончил, получил бакалавр, его называют graduate. То есть, человек, получивший бакалавриат. А как назвать студента, помимо student? То есть, человека, который получает образование свое первое. Потому что просто student – это ученик. Школьный ученик, не знаю, ученик на курсах, такое очень обширное слово. Okay, then it might be new for you. This one is undergraduate. Undergraduate. Whereas a person who is getting his master's is called a postgraduate. A learner. Can be. Okay, so see, we have an undergraduate. It's a person who is still getting his bachelor. Then we have a graduate. And if a person is getting his master's, it's going to be a postgraduate. Okay, this is some new vocabulary. And then a little text about the United States system, rather easy. So I'll give you just 1 minute to complete the gaps, and then we'll quickly read it as well. I'm gonna put some notes for you, so don't mind me. Ready? Okay, I see. Then they start at elementary school, then there goes middle school, or it's also called junior high school. And then the last stage is just high school. You watch a lot of American series, movies, I think you're familiar with it. Then they're divided into grades. So like the first grade, the second grade, and so on and so on. The youngest children start in kindergarten. So this one is kind of a German word, but they use it instead of saying детский сад. And continue until the 12th grade. The 12th grade, their final year. The 12th grade. The last stage of high school. The school year is divided into semesters. This one is here. And higher education in the US is often called college. If you were listening to me carefully, now you will know how to call российский college. So when our kids in Russia finish the 9th grade, where will they go? I've already used this word, so if you were listening carefully, you will know. Yeah, Lara, they do. They study for 12 years. Secondary, So primary and secondary school, that's all at school. But then, how do you call this thing, this Russian technicum или college, where students go after finishing the 9th grade? No? Okay, I see. Well, oh, Tatiana, great. Yeah, Tanya is right. It's a technical school. Technical school. So don't mistake it with a college. So a college or university, these are the same things. Английский колледж – это не наш техникум. College in English it's the same as university. But our Russian college или вот это техникум, это называется a technical school. У них тоже есть такое понятие, просто не путайте его с колледжем. No, Miss Bennett, it won't be. Okay, well, and now I'd like to focus with you on one interesting task now. I hope everything will work fine. And then we'll see how much more we can do. Okay, so now as I promised, we're gonna talk a little about Chinese educational system and how it is different. And for that, we are gonna listen to an interview with the British students who moved to China to study there. And it's gonna be divided into 3 weeks, into 4 weeks, sorry. Week 2 and 3, and the last week 4. You will need to listen to different tracks, and the first task is, so you have some numbers here, like 7 a.m., 30 minutes a day, 50, 12 hours, and so on. And you need to write down, what these numbers mean, and then share with us. Чтобы вам было побыстрее, в принципе, можем с вами писать в чат, то есть по ходу. Например, услышали, что значит 7 a.m., к чему это относится, можете написать в чат. Если, допустим, вот Таня увидела, что мисс Беннет написала 7, что такое 7 a.m., Таня может уже про это не писать, возьмите там уже 30 минут. То есть такая, давайте, групповая работа, нам нужно разобраться, к чему относятся все эти цифры. Надеюсь, хорошо будет работать звук. Давайте проверим. Сейчас закрою, включу аудио и обратно вам открою картинку. Или хотя так тоже вроде неплохо видно. So we need track. 1 second.
7.7 Week 1. On the first day of week 1, students change their normal school uniforms for Chinese-style tracksuits. They start the day much earlier than usual, at 7 in the morning, with 30 minutes of physical exercise. In Britain, PE is usually fun, and students only have 2 hours a week. But in the Chinese system, students do PE every day. Then lessons begin, and students get another shock. All 50 of them are together in one class. In Britain, the maximum is normally 30, but in China, it's common to have 50 kids in one room. They stop for lunch early, at 11:30. Classes finish at 5. But they're not allowed to go home. They have dinner at school, and after dinner they still have a lot of homework and self-study. When they finish at 7, they have to clean the classroom. The school day is 12 hours long, British students find this exhausting.
Did you catch everything or do you need to listen again? Huh, 12 hours they sleep. Not really. I'd hope, but not. Okay, if you heard and understood more information, please share. Okay, then from the beginning, at 7 a.m. they start the day, right? Then Eula says that for 30 minutes a day they do physical exercise. They have these P lessons. P это аббревиатура для физкультуры. That's right. There are 50 students in one room. Correct. At 7 p.m., well, they kind of clean the classroom and then they finish the school day. It's right. At 11:30, they have lunch. What happens at 5 p.m.? Nobody said. At 5 p.m. lessons finish. Yeah, okay. I didn't say it. At 5 p.m. lessons finish, but then they have to clean the classroom. And so at 7, they finally can go home. What about 12 hours? What does it refer to? Well, you can count. If they start their school day at 7 a.m. and they finish it at 7 p.m., what might it mean? Yeah, 12 hours is a usual school day. Can you imagine? I mean, the first time I listened to it, it was super crazy. They start at 7, they finish at 7. They have to clean their classroom. You're so lucky. Я ж поперхнулась. Okay, hopefully I don't choke. Well, now the second task about weeks 2 and 3. Now we have some statements and you just need to choose the things which are true. Some things are going to be false, some things are going to be not stated. You just need to choose or tick the things which are true. То есть отмечаем, выделили себе только то, что правда, только то, что вы услышали. Что-то здесь будет false, что-то будет not stated, вообще не берите во внимание. Okay? Okay. Let's see.
7.8 Weeks 2 and 3. There are big differences between Chinese and British teaching styles. The Chinese teachers teach very fast. Everything is done in books and on paper, and there is a lot of copying from the board. In Britain, for example, in science, the approach is to let students do experiments and discover things by themselves, with less help from the teacher. Discipline is also very different in British and Chinese schools. In China, the teachers have complete authority. But in Britain, the same teachers are having problems. They're surprised that the students don't take school seriously. When her students don't pay attention, Miss Yang, the science teacher, makes them stand and look at the wall. But it doesn't seem to work very well. As Rosie, one of the students, says, it probably works in China because everybody does what their teacher says. But here, we don't care. We think it's funny. By week 3, there is a serious problem with discipline. Some students like the Chinese system, but a lot of others are behaving badly in class, and some students stop coming to class completely. The Chinese teachers are losing control and realize they need to change the way they are teaching, or their students will fail the tests in week 4. They start to teach the children about Chinese culture and food, and they add Chinese face massage to their daily lessons. They also try to teach patience and concentration using traditional Chinese games. During a meeting with the parents, the Chinese teachers try to get them to help and to encourage their children to work hard. The parents are impressed, and the Chinese teachers are filled with new energy and confidence.
Do you think you need to listen again? Or is it fine? You understood everything? You know which statements are true? Again? Okay, that's fine.
(7.8) Weeks 2 and 3. There are big differences between Chinese and British teaching styles. The Chinese teachers teach very fast. Everything is done in books and on paper, and there is a lot of copying from the board. In Britain, for example, in science, the approach is to let students do experiments and discover things by themselves, with less help from the teacher. Discipline is also very different in British and Chinese schools. In China, the teachers have complete authority. But in Britain, the same teachers are having problems. They're surprised that the students don't take school seriously. When her students don't pay attention, Miss Yang, the science teacher, makes them stand and look at the wall. But it doesn't seem to work very well. As Rosie, one of the students, says, "It probably works in China because everybody does what their teacher says. But here, we don't care. We think it's funny." By week 3, there is a serious problem with discipline. Some students like the Chinese system, but a lot of others are behaving badly in class, and some students stop coming to class completely. The Chinese teachers are losing control and realize they need to change the way they are teaching, or their students will fail the tests in week 4. They start to teach the children about Chinese culture and food, and they add Chinese face massage to their daily lessons. They also try to teach patience and concentration using traditional Chinese games. During a meeting with the parents, the Chinese teachers try to get them to help and to encourage their children to work hard. The parents are impressed, and the Chinese teachers are filled with new energy and confidence.
All right. So, which ones are true? I see that the first and the third, the sixth, the 10th do Tai Chi. I think that's a kind of massage, Tai Chi, Chinese massage. Yeah, we have one full answer by Yuda. It's 2, 5, 6, 9, 10. I do not completely agree about the 9 because it says they make the children do Tai Chi. And it's получается, что они заставляют учеников делать вот этот массаж. Ну, как бы, видимо, им, но нет. То есть они ввели какой-то массаж лица, это правда, но они не заставляют ребят его делать. So the 9th will kick out, but with the 10th, I agree, yeah. They make a good impression on the parents. Parents are impressed, it's said. Then, has anyone mentioned? No, the 8th is not mentioned. But the 8th is true. When they see their method isn't working, they change their approach. It's sad, they understand that they need to change the way they're teaching. And the way they're teaching, it's the same as their approach. These are synonyms. With the 6th, I agree, the 6th is true. They have problems with disciplining the British students. Тут такая вот небольшая вам заметка по произношению. Знаю, что многие слово discipline произносят как discipline. В английском нет звука «ц». Поэтому вот всегда, когда вам захочется произнести в английском звук «ц», заменяем его на «с». То же самое здесь. Disciplining. The fifth is true as well. You're right. They try punishing. So what do? They make them stand and look at the wall. Как Google поставить, стоять перед стеной и смотреть в стену. The second is true. There is a lot of copying from the board, and the first as well. They teach very fast. So the full answer is 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. Thanks, Alexa. Alexa Brit. Okay, nice guys. Then I also want to look with you at this task. Okay, so if you have watched how it's called, the theoretical lesson about conditionals, you should have done it. I now just want to do a very, very short practice with you. You're going to have more of it in your home task, the general home task. Here, let's just do a couple of sentences, not all of them. For example, what do we have in the first? That girl into trouble if she doesn't wear her uniform. Вспоминайте теоретический урок, здесь прям такие самые базовые. Я вам на теоретическом уроке рассказывала про все виды conditionals. Здесь мы с вами проходимся только по... Да, ждала ответа. Только по первому conditional. В дома в основной домашней работе, вот по этому же уроку у вас будет практика. Все верно. Здесь просто будет will, she will get. Это самый базовый первый conditional. После if у вас doesn't. И в основной части у вас will. Что еще может употребляться помимо will? Помните? Помимо этого future simple. В основной части. Ну, shall как замена will я вообще не говорила на уроке. Смотрите, shall довольно устаревшая форма will. Раньше в классической грамматике употреблялась. Сейчас shall немножко изменило свое значение. Например, я вижу, что кому-то, там у меня, дочка сидит на диване, и я вижу, что она мерзнет, у нее мурашки, я могу спросить shall I close the window, как бы мне закрыть окно. Это форма предложения. Да, можно использовать модальные глаголы, Алина, Юля правы. То есть the girl can get into trouble или might get into trouble. И еще можно повелительное наклонение. For example, just a second. Don't do it, otherwise you'll get into trouble. Так, сейчас что-то не очень получилось. Ну вот так можно. Study well if you want to pass, for example. Behave well if you want to pass. Веди себя нормально, если хочешь там сдать, и так далее. Можно быть еще повелительное наклонение. Okay. As for more examples, what about the third? Don't write anything unless you. Мы с вами не говорили, такое небольшое дополнение, это чуть дальше проходится. Помимо if, может и when. В стандартных конструкциях могут использоваться всякие unless, until, as soon as long as, но правила все соблюдаем такие же. В части, там, где у вас if или все, что его заменяет, у нас идет условная часть предложения. То есть через present simple всякие. Yeah? And Tanya is right, unless you are sure of the answer. То есть unless это то же самое, что if. А после if будущее время мы не ставим, мы ставим present simple. Ничего не пиши, только если ты не уверен в ответе. Unless такая самая, по-моему, сложная вот конструкция из всех, которые вам будут встречаться, потому что она несет в себе негативный оттенок. Только если не. For example, you won't pass the exam unless you start getting ready. Ты не сдашь экзамен, только если ты не начнешь готовиться. Вместо того, чтобы подставлять частичку not к глаголу, вы просто не подставляете, вы берете unless. То есть вот в этом же предложении don't write anything, кстати, вот посмотрите, повелительное наклонение. Don't write anything unless you are sure of the answer. Можете сказать don't write anything if you are not sure. Было бы там if, вам бы к are понадобилось добавить not. Но его нет, и поэтому unless на себя эту функцию взяло. Okay, anything else? Anything else? Well, what will we use in 9? Давайте еще раз unless посмотрим. Number 9. I tonight, unless I finish my homework quickly. Разберитесь, где у вас вопросительная часть, где основная часть, где часть с условием. Вспомните, что unless то же самое, что if. Yeah. Here you will need future simple. I will not go out. В основной части, то есть до if, у нас будущее время или модальный глагол, или может быть повелительное наклонение. В части же с if, то есть после if, уже идет present simple. I won't go out работает или I will not go out. Я никуда не пойду, только если я не закончу домашнюю работу. That's correct. Okay. And as well, no. We are gonna look at some more vocabulary on the topic. Here, just 2 more short texts which you will need to complete. You have these verbs: to be expelled, to be punished, to cheat, lie, make, misbehave, and so on and so on. I can help you a bit with their explanations, and then you on your own complete the texts. So, for example, to be expelled, that's passive, but just to expel somebody, it means to make somebody leave school, for example. Let's say if students cheat in the exam, and cheat is to copy something, to write an exam in an unfair way. If students cheat on the exam, they can be expelled from school. So they will be made to leave. With punish, it's more general. Let's say if I see that my kid has done something wrong, I can punish him or her. Or these Chinese students, they were punished and they were made to stand opposite the wall and look at it, something like that. Remember, let here is, let me take maybe this thing. Let, it's the same as to allow. Вообще let и allow, они одинаковые. Здесь я вот одну такую грамматическую справку позволю. Let употребляется с голым инфинитивом. То есть let somebody do something. Видите, частички to нет. Allow употребляется с инфинитивом полным. Allow somebody to do something. Пожалуйста, запомните, это вот, по-моему, это, в ЕГЭ, понятное дело, очень много встречается, но и дальше и в общем английском, в других экзаменах тоже этого достаточно. Misbehave. So we have these words behavior, or okay, let's write you as well. Misbehave, it's when you don't behave properly. When you do stupid or silly things, you shout when your mom or your other parent specifically asked you not to do it. То есть miss вообще приставка значит что-то делать не так. Здесь плохо себя вести. And from B, I think you know. Из B там попонятнее глаголы. Заполните, пожалуйста, оба текста. Буквально пару минут вам на это. Да, внимательнее, вам также нужно поставить глаголы в верную форму. То есть у вас, например, по A will not be allowed to, и здесь в инструкции, в примере, вам его заменили на aren't allowed. Вы должны будете сделать то же самое. I see the answers. Okay, well then maybe let's first quickly check the first text. If they don't, and they don't let us bring, that's correct. They don't allow us to bring. Behave well, but if you misbehave. Мне нравится ответ Ellen. Третий точно misbehave. But if you misbehave, for example, talk too much in class, yeah, that's right. You'll be punished, okay? And the teacher will probably make you stay. Здесь я вижу немножко запутались. То есть, если вы просто себя будете как-то некорректно вести, например, talk too much, you'll be punished. Сразу вас не исключат за это из школы. Вас просто накажут. И, возможно, учитель will make you stay. Вот эта конструкция make somebody do something. Тоже без частицы to она используется. Заставить кого-то что-то сделать. If you do something more serious, like cheating an exam, то обязательно в инговой форме при этом. Cheating in an exam – это списывать. Cheat – либо списывать, либо еще изменять, если мы говорим про отношения. You might even be expelled. Okay. Then, the little text B, I see Tanya's answers in caps lock. Okay. Mark has to take an important English exam. He hopes he'll pass. So remember the difference, to take an exam and to pass an exam. So at first, you need to take an exam. It just means that you come and you sit an exam. That's it. But if you pass the exam, it means that you get the mark you wanted, probably. If you pass, it means you can get into the university and stuff like that. У нас в русском нет разницы между take и pass, как бы сдавать экзамен. Потом тебя, правда, могут спросить, ты сдал? И, ты, наверное, уже на это ответишь нет. Хотя или просто ты сдал экзамен, может иметься в виду, экзамен закончился, все, ты вернулся. Но в английском to take an exam это просто прийти на экзамен и все, написать экзамен. А вот to pass это уже именно его сдать или не сдать. Хорошо, плохо, когда вы результаты получили. But he hasn't had much time to revise, probably. So he's worried that he might fail. He won't get the result until July. Nothing is difficult here. To fail an exam, it's not to pass an exam. And to revise, we have some notes from your classes and you might revise, read them again, and so on. Just read that information again. Hopefully that's clear. And I just wanted to paint out your attention, to draw your attention to these verbs again, let, make, and allow. So just one more time. Let and make, they are kind of similar because both of them, they do not need to after. My tutor made me do extra homework. Or our IT teacher lets us play. No to, see? Потому что дальше вот эта ошибка с вами может идти дальше в обучении. Вот они всегда, сколько встречаются, всех вызывают проблемы. Поэтому, пожалуйста, запомните, что после make, после let не употребляется глагол to. Make somebody do something, заставлять кого-то что-то делать. Let somebody do something, позволять кому-то что-то делать. Глагол let неправильный, в прошедшей форме он так остается с собой let. Allow то же самое, что let. Только после allow мы нормально, как со всеми глаголами, с большей частью глаголов, используем после него to. The head или the principal, если это какая-то американская школа, doesn't allow us to take our phones to schools. As for their meaning, let and allow, they are totally the same. But the thing is that we can't use let in the passive. Такая вот здесь справочка, что let в пассиве не используется. В пассиве может быть только allow. Но тогда уж начали говорить про пассив. Например, make в пассиве используется спокойно, и тогда с ним происходят метаморфозы. Если make будет в пассиве, тогда частица to уже используется. То есть my tutor made me do extra homework. Здесь никакого to, но если перевернете, мы про пассив с вами будем на теоретическом уроке говорить на следующей неделе, вот как раз. I was made to do extra homework by my tutor. Вот это уже такой более advanced формат для всяких международных экзаменов, и там такая штука может встретиться вам. если для кого-то актуально. Да, Николай правильно поясняет, это complex object, просто complex object звучит довольно жутко. Но есть, да, такая тема в английском языке. Okay, well, as for today, that's it for our lesson. If you have some questions, please let me know. I'm gonna answer them right now. You also, so you asked me about the series and the quizzes. Yeah, you can already start watching the series. The quizzes I'm gonna post today, maybe in an hour or so in our group. You can find them there. Also the homework you can find there. Может быть, давайте я для тех, кто здесь, если вы видите запись с моего экрана, я прям, наверное, вам сейчас и покажу. То есть у нас с вами есть группа. Так, сейчас. Угу. Во-первых, в группе есть это верхнее меню. То есть пока что у нас только одна домашняя работа, но потом будет больше, вам так будет удобнее находить. Секундочку, она прогружается. Это была домашняя работа по первому домашнему заданию. Такая же будет по второму. Quizlet прикреплен вот здесь. Он прикреплен так будет и к сегодняшнему уроку. Пожалуйста, заходите. Сейчас давайте вот прям сразу пройдем, проверим, все ли работает. Да, вон он, пожалуйста. Lesson 2, Family. То есть вам не просто нужно карточки пролистать, если что, там листать карточки и смотреть, что все это значит. Вот здесь у вас есть изучать, заучивание, письмо, правописание, тест, разные упражнения на как раз этот Quizlet, разные интерактивные задания. Смысл Quizlet вот как раз в этом. Надеюсь, здесь вы этот момент поняли. Дальше, что еще важно сказать, по теоретические уроки вам приходят в рассылке, если вы не смотрите, и они также доступны на платформе. Просматривайте их там. И по сериалу. По сериалу у вас был первый пост, где вы могли выбрать какой-то сериал по трейлеру. Например, Atypical — это вообще моя личная любовь. Очень этот сериал люблю, он очень такой добрый, поэтому вот от себя всем советую, можете посмотреть. У него очень коротенькие серии, поэтому если выберете его, советую смотреть серии по 2. Sex Education — это просили, я так немножечко против таких сериалов, но меня очень просили мои ученики с прошлого года. Вот, поэтому как-то все подростки, все смотрят. Сериал британский, да, он, по-моему, или по-американски, не помню, какой там акцент, если честно, английского уже. Но просили, поэтому по заказам тоже есть. Looking for Alaska, наверное, вы по трейлерам посмотрели, вы в целом все поняли. То есть такие более консервативные сериалы, Atypical, I'm not okay with this. Вот кто любит что-то посмелее, что сейчас популярно, то это Looking for Alaska и Sex Education. Вот. Добавила их по запросам студентов. Квизы по ними тоже. И также вы зайдете в меню, посмотрите вот на это series по записям, и там к каждому сериалу, вот также по названиям, я прикреплю эти тестики. Они очень коротенькие, не бойтесь, на минут 10-15 займет. Там будут открытые ответы. То есть, если в домашней работе здесь у вас будет оцениваться ответ после отправки, вы увидите, сколько ответов было правильно, сколько было неправильно. По квизу по series такого не будет. У вас будет такой один развернутый ответ, и дальше в комментариях примерный ответ, как вы могли ответить, как вы могли, да, что вы могли написать. В общем, не разберетесь, дайте знать. Надеюсь, все хорошо объяснила. Как можно вступить в группу? В рассылке приходила группа, Настя, если ты пропустила, напиши мне ВКонтакте или в Инстаграме, я тогда тебе заново вышлю ссылку на нее. Ссылка была в рассылке. А так, у нас с вами на сегодня все. Следите за новостями в этой группе. В рассылке там будет только общая информация по всем предметам и напоминания об уроках. Не забывайте смотреть теоретические уроки. Мы будем с вами на последней неделе разбирать артикли. Вот там довольно интересный такой урок будет, объемный. По пассиву чуть покороче. И следующее занятие, again, next Monday at 4 p.m. Okay? Thank you for coming and keeping me company. Okay, guys. Yeah, bye-bye. Hopefully it was useful for you. I'm gonna see you soon. You have a nice day too.